Here we go, Ruth. Wake up. Wake up. Let's get this party started. Here we go. Get your pen ready. You know what to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, let's get into today. Our topic is going to be Latin America. We'll start off with. All right, so Mexico emerged from its revolution with a one-party system. Okay. Partito, and I'm going to brutalize this. Y'all help me out. Forgive me too. Partito Revolucionario Institucional. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's okay. But it ended up with the PRI. All right. Dominated Mexican politics for, check this out, 70 years. All right. 70 years. In Argentina, government was under the control of military leaders who wanted to industrialize the country. All right. Some of them were, can you guess? Can you guess? It's that F word, fascist sympathizers. Among them was Juan Perón. Juan Perón and his wife Evita. Although Perón praised, or I'm sorry, not praised, they raised the salaries of the working class. It's government fixing things. His government controlled the, where did it control? Controlled the press. There was no freedom of press and denied civil liberties to citizens. All right. When he died in 1975, Argentina continued to be ruled by military dictators. And then in the year is 82, a short war with Great Britain over the Falkland Islands. The Falkland Islands resulted in Argentine defeat. All right, check out the Falkland War. All right, from 1934 to 1944 and from 1952 to 1959, Cuba was ruled by dictator Fulgencio Batista. All right, U.S. trade relations with Cuba gave it an influence over the island nations. The United States was a part of, really hung out with Batista. In 1959, there is Cubans revolted, the Cuban Revolution, against the corruption of Batista. They didn't like everything he was doing, replacing it with the rule of a young revolutionary lawyer named Fidel. You know this one. Can you say it? It's Fidel Castro. Very good. During the revolution, Batista lost the support of the United States because of his corrupt government. Shortly after assuming power in Cuba, Castro proclaimed himself a Marxist. Means he's an extreme communist. All right, he seized all foreign property and collectivized farms. He's looking like Stalin right now. And then in 1961, Castro terminated relations with the United States and gradually aligned Cuba with the, who is it? You can say Russia, but we're going to say USSR, the United Soviet Socialist Republic. Also in 1961, the United States sponsored an unsuccessful, check this out, invasion of Cuba by Cuban exiles. Some Cubans had escaped, and we did this down at the Bay of Pigs. This was very embarrassing for John F. Kennedy. Cuba's dependence on the Soviet Union led to the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, the year before Kennedy will be shot. All right, throughout now Central America, United States businesses such as United Fruit, down there trying to give people some jobs, invested in the national economies, resulting in a U.S. presence. Often, check this out, a lot of people resented it. They didn't want us there. They were resented it by Central Americans. All right. In Nicaragua, the Sandinistas carried out a protest against U.S. intervention that resulted in a, check this out, a socialist revolution in the 1980s. This means they want more government control over the people. The United States attempted to contain communism. It actually becomes our policy during the Cold War in Latin America by supporting governments that professed adherence to democratic principles. All right, we believe in democratic principles, so we'll support those places. And that's how we believe we'll stop communism in Latin America. All right, it also sponsored programs such as the Alliance for Progress. Begun in 1961 and intended to develop the economy of Latin American nations. By the final decades of the 20th century, the United States changed its positions to one of, check it out, we've been trying so hard, and now we're going to change our policy to one of non-intervention in Latin America. Okay, now we're looking at the Carter administration. I really need to change this. It's really not non-intervention. It's just kind of less in intervention. So non or less intervention in Latin America. But under the Carter administration, Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer, the governor of Georgia, the United States signed a treaty with Panama that eventually returned control of the, check it out, the Panama Canal. To Panama. Yes, let's give it our Panama Canal to the Panamanians. By the 1980s, the United States was assuming a more direct role in Central America. And then in 1990, the United States helped end Norwegian governments, which was known for its authoritarianism and control of the drug trade. All right, very good. All right, now let's move to India. Indian independence from, who was it? Great Britain. All right, was accomplished largely through the efforts of Mohandas, and y'all will be very familiar with this, so we'll go pretty fast. Gandhi, who believed in passive resistance. This is who Martin Luther King will learn from to accomplish his goals. In 1935, the British Parliament passed an act, the India Act, which increased suffrage and turned provisional governments over to Indian leaders. Indian independence was delayed by the insistence of some, check this out, of some Muslim states. Whoa, I messed that up. All right, so Indian independence was delayed by the insistence of some, that's right, some Muslims, that's what messed me up, on a separate Muslim state. They want a separate Muslim state in India. And all right, then in 1947, 2 years after World War II was over, the British granted India its, check it out, India will get its, whatever all these colonies we're looking for, can you guess? Independence, that's right. India followed a path of non-alignment with either superpower. So they're going to kind of try to take things on their own. At the same time, India received its independence. The new nation created, Pakistan was created. Pakistan was then divided into eastern and western regions, separated by over 1,000 miles of Indian territory. And a few years later, Burma, or Myanmar, and Ceylon, or in Sri Lanka, that's the island off the bottom of India, also gained independence. Unequal distribution of wealth between the two Pakistans ended in, check it out, civil war in the early 70s. And in 1972, East Pakistan became the independent country of, that's why I've never heard of East Pakistan, of Bangladesh. Very good. All right, let's go to the next topic. Conflicts in Palestine. Okay, Palestine, we're talking about moving over to the Middle East, if you don't know where Palestine is, down there by Israel. So the Holocaust strengthened international support for a homeland for the Jews. As the Nazis continued their policy of genocide against the Jews, immigration to our topic, Palestine, increased. When Arab resistance turned to violence against Jewish communities in Palestine, the British placed restrictions on Jewish communities. All right, and then in 1948, what's that big union again? The United Nations partitioned Palestine into Jewish and Arab countries. The independent of state of, and y'all know the state is, Israel was proclaimed. Almost immediately, war broke out as Arabs protested the partition. They're like, And then a Jewish victory resulted in the eventual expansion of the Jewish state. Okay, at the expense of hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs who were exiled from their homes. All right, last topic. Iran. The year is 1979. The U.S.-backed Iranian government of Reza Shah Pahlavi was overthrown by Islamic fundamentalists. Okay. The middle classes were opposed to the Shah's authoritarian and repressive rule. Iran's ayatollahs, or religious leaders, opposed of the Shah's lack of concern for strict Islamic observance. All right. Iran also was suffering from a fall in, they're dealing with this now too, oil prices prior to the 1979 revolution. All right, if you want to know about Iraq, pay a lot of attention to this. This is where we kind of get started. All right. The new Iranian ruler, Ayatollah Khomeini, rejected Western culture as, and that's us, as satanic, and imposed strict Islamic law or Sharia law, including the veiling of women on Iran or in Iran. All right, now we're in Iraq now. Saddam Hussein, y'all know his name, I hope. Saddam Hussein, leader of Iraq, now will take advantage of the Iranian weakness, all right, by annexing its oil-rich western provinces. When peace came in 1988, Iran was devastated economically. Very good. And we'll pause right there. Very good.